What is good, everyone? This is your host, Deanna Radulescu with Label Free. To live your best life, live label free. Super pumped for today's episode, so sit back, relax, and tune in. My next guest is a very passionate, avid motorcycle rider. So all you motorcycle maniacs out there, you're going to love this episode. He is also very passionate about many different charities, especially ones revolving around our beloved veterans. He is the CEO and founder of Vector Consulting Services, also the CFO, CMO of Motorcycle Safety Lawyers, a division of Shuman Legal. Please welcome David Shuman. David, thank you for joining us today.
Thank you so much for having me.
I'm super excited about this conversation. I'm just going to give a little background here to everyone. So David and I have worked together for a couple of years. He is also the host of Because Bikers Matter podcast, and we've done a lot of projects together. So I know a little bit more about David than my typical guest. So I'm very pumped to share more about what he does and all the amazing things that he's involved in. So, David, I first want to start off with in having you share with the audience your interest and your motivation and all of your passions around the motorcycle community.
Well, my first roommate in college was local to DeKalb, Illinois, and he had a motorcycle. He taught me how to ride it. Off we went to the Secretary of State, got my motorcycle license, my M designation, and next step was go to Rochelle, Illinois, which is the closest motorcycle dealership, and I got a KZ400, that's a Kawasaki, and I put 25,000 miles on it in the first 2 years.
Wow.
That was my intro to motorcycles.
Yeah, well, that's fun. I'm a big motorcycle rider myself. I haven't for a long time, but I love riding on my own motorcycle. I don't do well riding in the back seat. Let's fast forward. Now you are the founder and CFO of Motorcycle Safety Lawyers. So can you tell us a little bit about why that started, what MSL does, and why it's important for motorcyclists everywhere around the country to know motorcycle safety lawyers?
So first of all, a neighbor of ours, my brother Mark and I, was Michael Ross, and Michael and I rode together all through college. And when we graduated, he took a job with Ace Hardware in Oak Brook. And he was riding to work one day and somebody blew the stop sign and T-boned him. And he became a quadriplegic. He happened to live for about 7 years in assisted living, but he wasn't even a fraction of himself.
Yeah.
And that was devastating to us and all our friends who rode as well. It's hard to look at, and it was just painful to deal with. So my brother decided he was going to be a lawyer, and it motivated him because he was friends with Michael as well, to get into handling motorcycle accidents. And so for over 35 years, he's handled motorcycles and cars and buses and trucks and all kinds of fun stuff. That was the beginning. And then we got a call about 3.5 years ago or so saying, we've worked out this program, we're forming this alliance to handle motorcycle accident cases. And that was the National Academy of Motorcycle Injury Lawyers. We joined, and that really started the whole idea of having a division of Shuman Legal, personal injury lawyers, called Motorcycle Safety Lawyers. Well, it didn't start with that name. It was just Mark J. Shuman Associates. And then the more we did in the community and the more we worked with it, it was too hard for everybody to remember.
Sure.
And I was at a dinner with a bunch of folks in the motorcycle industry, and it came out saying Motorcycle Safety Lawyers. And that night I went on to GoDaddy and found the domain and bought it. And it's been crazy ever since.
Don't you just love how something gets born so easily like that?
It's happened so many times in running this business. It's amazing.
So Motorcycle Safety Lawyers, I almost feel like some of these things that you're talking about, they're so new. I feel like it should have been done many, many years ago. Now, what exactly, so all you motorcyclists, like really listen closely. What exactly, how does Motorcycle Safety Lawyers support the biker community and help keep them safe?
Well, several of our team members, actually all of our team members, ride, whether they're, in the back or if they're actually riding their own, motorcycle like you talked about. And we wanted to be highly motivated about helping the motorcycle community. And that's what really makes us different from any other law firm, because there's few across the country there where some of their attorneys or staff, whatever, ride. That'd be similar. But we not only do we sponsor events and rides, it's all the charities that we sponsor and attend. We're physically at all these events that we sponsor all the time. We have events almost every day. And certainly even in the winter for Chicago, we have events going on every week, whether it be swap meets or meetings of different, clubs, accident scene management training. So the word safety in our name is confusing to some people. What does that mean? And that's a great question. So the safety comes from the fact that we work with some of the hardware manufacturers like Kirsch helmets. Okay. We sponsor what's called accident scene management classes. And the whole idea of an accident scene management class, it's different from taking CPR and some of the Red Cross type classes that some people teach. Those are important skills.
Yeah.
But we teach you what to do if, unfortunately, you're at the scene of a motorcycle accident. Yeah. And so how do you protect the rider that went down? How do you protect yourselves? Because you got ongoing traffic you have to assume, right? What is there a safe way to move the victim's body off of the road without killing or paralyzing them or making their injuries worse? And the answer is yes. Okay. What are all the steps you take? What things do you have to know? And then what can you do to actually save a life or reduce injuries? And these classes are intense, hands-on, and you learn these skills. And if you look at the feedback that we get all the time, if you go to roadguardians.org, you'll see all the feedback because they invented this class. And there are people who have taken the class and the next day were at the scene of an accident.
Wow. That can save someone's life.
Right. It's amazing. I mean, we have a video on our YouTube channel that shows the Xanders. They have a charity called My Child's Life Matter. It deals with fentanyl. But the point is, they were at Sturgis last year with us, and they were out riding with some people, and something happened, and they went down. And Kathy actually cracked her head on the pavement. She was gushing blood. And not only did they have a trauma pack that I'd given them at their event, and didn't understand why did they really need this. It was, that's cool, okay, whatever. Right. They carried it with them, thank God, because so did several of the other people there, and they saved her life.
Yeah.
And in the video, Rob goes, and Rob's a big burly guy, and he's a real motorcyclist, okay, and they're very dedicated to their cause. But he said, I can't tell you that my wife would be standing next to me today if it wasn't for that trauma pack.
Yeah, I remember watching that video, and that really resonated with me. And I thought, like, how great of a plug that was for you, for motorcycle safety lawyers, but also those trauma packs. I know that you've throughout the year, you do quite a few giveaways and different things to just kind of boost the morale and your brand and motorcycle safety lawyers. What can people expect if they have a trauma pack? Like, what different types of items are in there that can support them when they're on the road?
Well, it's like a lot of things in life. You get what you pay for.
Yeah.
Our trauma pack's $100, but you've got a tourniquet. Mm-hmm. You've got 2-size breathing masks. So they use a disposable tube, and there's 2 sizes. One is a full face covering for an adult, and the other is a full face covering for a child. It's easier than all these other techniques that people use to try to invoke breathing.
Sure.
Okay. And it's sanitary. Okay. And so we have that. We have all kinds of bandages and gauze. You have a saline solution, because you're not supposed to pour bottled water onto a wound. Sometimes you don't have a choice. Okay.
Yeah.
But it's not sterile. So we have saline solution. So you actually can use that to rinse out a wound. There's wraps. There's a pen. There's a flashlight. There's a writing pad. We include what's called the pack card. It comes from Road Guardians.
Okay.
And it's part of what they teach in the first accident scene management course. It's the steps to follow and how to do things. And so that's in there. There's not like one of things, there's a bunch of things, so that, this pack is valuable because it can save a life. I forgot about the gloves. Most important thing, 2 pairs of gloves. Because you're supposed to wear 2 pairs.
Yeah.
when the medics come on scene and they see you wearing gloves and you have two pairs on, they know you know what you're doing.
Yeah, that's great.
It's very important. And so, and there's more, as I say, but it's part of that process. You can get a trauma pack. We're working with one. Biker Down has one that's co-branded. It's $30. Okay. It doesn't have all the same things in it, and it certainly doesn't have as much of them either.
Right.
Is it better than nothing? 1,000%.
Sure. Yeah. You
got to start somewhere. You need to have something because things happen.
Yes, they do.
If something goes wrong with your bike, you accidentally cut your finger on something. It would be nice to have something to clean it with and have a Band-Aid. Yeah. I mean, that's stuff's in there too, but that's just basic, first aid stuff.
Yeah. It's a hardcore biker first aid kit. So jump on that. Only $100. And he does do giveaways throughout the year. I know this personally because I've delivered the packages myself. So you also...
And we appreciate that too.
I'm happy to help. Today's episode is brought to you by Honeylove. Ladies, let's talk about shapewear. We all know most shapewear makes you feel like you're being suffocated. That sexy dress in the back of your closet is so freaking cute, but the thought of having your inside squished by your shapewear is just not worth it. That's why Honeylove spent years researching and developing effective shapewear that's actually comfortable. Overly tight, cheap, and sticky fabrics that roll up are a thing of the past. Thanks to Honeylove, you can finally feel confident and comfortable in your favorite outfits. We have an exclusive deal for our listeners. For a limited time only, you can get Honeylove's best deal they offer. Get 20% off your entire order with the code LABELFREE20 at honeylove.com. That's right, ladies. Get 20% off of your entire order with LABELFREE20 at honeylove.com. You also offer other things for motorcyclists. And this is something that I learned as someone that has ridden, I rode my own bike for 10, 15 years, that you have to know a little bit more about insurance when it comes to riding a motorcycle. Now, I learned a lot about this just over the years working with you and just being a part of your events and stuff. There is a common denominator between people that they don't know that they lack certain coverages with their motorcycle through insurance.
There's a couple categories. And so what we did is we offer a free service. If you email David at motorcyclesafetylawyers.com and send me your declaration page, I'll tell you what's good and bad about your policy and what exactly to say to your agent to correct it. And I say that because over 80% of the policies we see are not adequate. I mean, you got to think about this. If you have a spouse, you have children, you own a business, you need to have the right coverage. It's you that's at risk. See, people, you go to the agent says, you're fully covered. And I'm here to tell you that's garbage. Okay? You're not fully covered. Maybe, and I'll tell you the second problem, and that's where the maybe is on this. Maybe your bike's covered. Right. But your body isn't covered. And your body is the problem because who's paying your bills if you're missing work because you're in rehab or in a hospital?
Right.
Okay?
Yeah.
Somebody's got to take care of this stuff. And so if you're out there and you have $25,000, $50,000, or even $100,000 in coverage, you're who I'm talking about. Because most likely, see, by default, you can look at Geico, Progressive, State Farm. There's more. There's a ton of companies, right? The default for a lot of them, and especially if you call an 800 number to set up your policy, you're not working with an agent, you're going to get the defaults for uninsured and underinsured motorists, and the defaults are the state minimum. So in Illinois, as an example, the state minimum for an insurance policy is $25,000.
Wow.
So let me give you an example. You're going 55 miles an hour. Some idiot hits you. Mm-hmm. You go flying. You break a leg. How common is that? Extremely. Yeah. You know how much it costs by the time you have surgery on your leg and been in the hospital? It's over $100,000. If you have $25,000 in coverage, where's the money to pay you, repair your bike, pay for all your medical bills and everything else? It doesn't exist, folks. Right. You don't get more. You get the policy. So if the other person hits you and they only have the minimum, right? And let's say you have 100, the most you're going to get is 100, right. Okay? But 25 is going to come from them, and the insurance companies are allowed to play this game. And 75 is going to come from your policy to help put you back together. But it's not going to pay all your costs. It's not going to work. These things hold true for autos also, but in an automobile, you got 5,000 pounds of steel around you and all this other stuff. you're better protected than you are exposed on a motorcycle.
For sure. Yeah.
So we tell people you shouldn't have less than $250,000.
Okay.
That's comprehensive collision, because you have to have that number to go to the things that matter: uninsured motorists and underinsured motorists.
Right.
Okay. So uninsured means they got nothing. Underinsured means they got 25,000, but because you have 250,000, you're going to get $250,000 of protection if someone hurts you.
Right.
That you have a better chance of getting through surgery and having some money to pay some bills and get your bike repaired or replaced. Okay. Right now, you have an accident case. Unfortunately, the bad accident, the leg was damaged. For whatever reason, it got infected. Now he doesn't have a leg.
Oh, that's terrible.
My brother figured out a way to get him millions of dollars in coverage.
Nice. Okay.
Okay.
You also have, that you just launched last year, I believe, a VIP card that in case of an emergency, your bike gets broken down on the side of the road, that you have this service that people can sign up for, and you offered a Christmas bundle this for the holidays, where people, and it was an awesome deal, but this VIP card specifically will support any bikers if they break down on the side of the road. And I know you have an amazing story around it. So why don't you tell us a little bit about the card and then share the story with us and how it is very helpful for people in that situation.
So the deal is, if you get, let's say you go to Sturgis like we do every year. We exhibit there. We're right on Main Street. And you go out to Spearfish Canyon. It's like $600 to tow your bike if you could even get a phone signal, but from Spearfish, but, to tow your bike back to Sturgis, to the Harley dealership or Indian. They're both there. So, and there's some others, or you have to go, so the point is, our card is $49.95 a year. And for that, you get $300 of a tow is paid by us. The first $300 of a jump. And the only reason a jump would cost a lot of money is if you were so far away.
Sure. Yeah.
Because you pay by the mile for a tow truck to come, right?
Yeah.
So another thing is up to 3 gallons of gas. If you run out of gas in Spearfish Canyon, a tow truck will come out there with gas so that you can get back to a station and fill the rest of that tank.
Yeah.
Okay. And the first $300 of any of those are paid by motorcycle safety lawyers in this program. In addition, you lose your key fob. There's some money there for replacing your key fob for your motorcycle. And probably the most important thing, even though you won't know it that way, is that you also get a free 1-year membership to Biker Down. And Biker Down is a charity, 501c3, so it's tax deductible. It's a legitimate deal that steps up if you unfortunately go down. They provide consulting. They can provide some, it's almost like companionship, right? Because they're helping you deal with the grief and the agony and what's going on. But in addition, if your situation is such, they may pay, some of your expenses to help you get along. They will clearly give you financial consultant that tells you what to do about a whole slew of different things so that your creditors aren't climbing down your back while you're in a hospital or trying to recover. Okay, so extremely great information. They do a fantastic job. We decided to sponsor them. And so this card gets you a 1-year free membership in Biker Down, and they'll be there for you.
Excellent. Excellent. That's fantastic. So very valuable membership or card to purchase, and it's inexpensive. So you guys go check that out again at motorcyclesafetylawyers.com. So you mentioned charities a lot throughout this conversation. So I really want to highlight that, because one thing that I've loved getting to know your organization and doing different projects with you is all of the different charities that you do support and that you're passionate about. And, I love supporting our veterans, and you and your brother are very passionate about that as well. And there's a story there. So why don't you kind of tell us a little bit about some of the charities you support, why you support them, and things that we can look forward to this year that you're going to be doing?
I talked before about the Xanders and that they went down and Kathy hit her head and was bleeding profusely. Their charity is My Child's Life Matters.
Yeah.
And they're also a 501c3. Sadly, their son, John, he was a teenager out with friends, and they decided to do something that, not everybody should be doing. And he had peer pressure from friends, and he snorted what was supposed to be cocaine. And it was laced with fentanyl.
Yeah.
And he died.
Yeah.
And for 6 years, the Zanders, to honor him, they have a ride every year called the Ride for John. Okay. But they raise money to help educate. And they're not educating just the community, because people there's a stigma around, oh, they're drug addicts.
Yeah.
These are kids who, like, none of us in high school didn't have a little peer pressure about maybe it was tasting a beer, maybe it was vodka, maybe it was some other garbage that I wouldn't touch if I got even near it. All that sweet stuff and whatever. But and maybe it was pot, and who knows, whatever it was, it doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter.
No,
they're not drug addicts. They're the pressure and whatever, and they, everybody's tried something. Okay, even Bill Clinton, if you recall.
Yeah.
So the deal is their thing is educating the politicians, the police, and more. So they've been invited actually by the DEA to Virginia, and actually spoke in front of a conference they were having about fentanyl and stuff.
Yeah,
because people don't, now it's in the news finally.
Yeah.
Fentanyl's been coming here for a while. Okay.
Yeah.
But it's out of control now.
It is.
And you see one of these pill bags that's about 8-10 inches high and stuffed with these little pills, and it'll wipe out entire states.
Yeah.
It only takes several grains of salt worth of fentanyl to kill you.
Right.
Okay. Yeah. Particularly what's coming across the border. So they're big on educating people. They're also big on giving support to the families that lost a loved one, and helping them deal with the guilt they feel and the loss and more, because there's a stigma about this stuff.
Yeah.
And I think it's finally going away, because so many people in the US are dying from this.
Yeah. They're doing a great job raising awareness around it. I see a lot of their stuff on social media. So you also are involved with curing kids cancer. That was a great event that you guys were a part of this last year. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
So Curing Kids Cancer was formed by Grania Owen, who lost her son Killian to leukemia.
Yeah.
And at the time when this happened, Killian was 9, and there were some new drugs that they were testing, but they wouldn't let him have it.
Yeah.
And he died. And Grania and her husband decided that no other parents should go through this, and that drugs should be available. So they started, they formed their charity. They started raising money. This charity blows me away, because they've raised, as of last year, they raised over $24 million for
wow, that's amazing,
pediatric cancer research.
Yeah.
Okay. And that's an amazing number.
Huge number.
Private people to be able to be that successful at helping. What's more important is that money went to research, and that part of how they came out with something called CAR T-cell therapy. Yeah. And they basically take the blood of a child, they modify the DNA, and they put it back in the child.
Yeah.
So they've been doing this. The child does not get radiation, does not get chemo.
Great. That's great.
97% live.
Yeah. It costs quite a bit, though, to have this treatment, doesn't it?
Well, if you were to try to get yourself from the pharmaceuticals, it'd be about $400,000. But the program is in place where they pay $25,000 per treatement.
Yeah.
So that's amazing unto itself.
Yes,
but to say for $25,000, you have a 97% chance of saving a child's life. And we're talking about the children that get this are in hospice. They're not expected to live. So we were at the Mecum Auto Auction in here in Vegas in January, and what happens is Mecum has raised over $11 million of that $24 million for curing kids cancer. They are the preferred charity of the Mecum Auctions across the country. So Grania goes up. I don't know how she does this every day, because she's remembering, she's connected to her child, but she has to tell the story.
That's gotta be hard.
Yeah, it's hard. Just like the Zanders tell, the story of John, same way. And she tells her story, and there was, we did it. Well, I should back up. We did a contest. Mm-hmm. We have 25 custom bike builders, painters, etc., customizing Kirsch helmets.
Yeah,
they're painting the helmets, and then they're going to be auctioned off at Mecum throughout the year. But we're going to do several at the motorcycle auction in Vegas, which is the like 24th, 25th through for like a week. Okay. And that's at South Point Hotel in Las Vegas, Nevada. You also go to motorcyclesafetyletters.com and you can learn about all the different things we have going on. Sign up for our newsletter. We give away 20 grand towards a motorcycle make and model of your choice every year. You can sign up for that for free. You know, there's a whole slew of information and fun stuff.
Yes,
on our website.
And all social media, you guys. So the best way to, if you can't do any of those things and don't want to put the effort in, go follow them on Facebook, Instagram, and you can check out all the things they got going on there as well, and YouTube. And don't forget to go follow and listen to Because Bikers Matter podcast. He gets more into his conversations with the different charity people that he supports, the different motorcyclists out there, and a lot of good information on that show. So, David, this is the part of the show where I like to ask for last words of wisdom or advice. What would you like to leave with us today?
Buy a trauma pack and get your insurance policy checked before the season starts. When you get in an accident, it's too late to go, whoops, I don't have good insurance. Yes. So that's, get trained and take your friends.
Yeah.
Do the accident scene management class. Why? Because you hope someone has the skills to do the right thing if unfortunately you're the victim.
Yeah.
But also you can be there for your loved ones and for your friends, your brothers and sisters.
Yeah. Very practical advice. Thank you for sharing that with us. Thank you for being a guest and all the things that you're doing out there in the community. We really appreciate it. So, thank you very much.
Thank you for the opportunity.
You guys, this is your host, Deanna Radulescu with Label Free. To live your best life, live label free. Don't forget to tune in every Friday at 7 a.m. and we will be back with more dynamic guests. Thank you.